Welcome back to another episode of Ace Talks, where we talk about Ecuador and a little more. Today, I'm accompanied by my friend and coworker, Daniel.
Hi, well, I'm so glad to be here. It's the first time I just get with you, talking about random stuff, and well, it's my pleasure. I'm happy to be here.
All right, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Of course. Well, we are teachers. We work as English teachers, and I've been teaching for about 15 years, a little bit more. And I'm a lawyer too, but I'm just exercising my career, the lawyer career. And well, I like sports. I like music. I play a couple of musical instruments, and well, I like doing free time activities like going hiking or riding my bicycle. So I enjoy nature, and well, playing basketball is one of my favorite hobbies.
I remember everyone called you Suspension.
Oh yeah, it was a long while ago when I was really athletic. Not anymore.
Not anymore, but we're getting there. Through fasting, we're getting back
Sure, maybe.
in
Just
shape.
avoiding injuries, especially because I'm a little overweighted. So right now I feel good. I've been fasting and it's good. I just lost a couple of kilos and I feel great now.
That's awesome. Going back a little bit to what you just said about your professions, can you tell us why you don't work as a lawyer and why only as a teacher?
Well, I felt a little disappointed since I realized there were so many lawyers and well, I felt like more attracted to teaching. I felt comfortable in the classroom and relating with students, and I felt that was what I wanted to do. And being a lawyer wasn't that good to me. I felt like stressed. Like I'm not saying it's bad because it's a good profession. It's great, but I enjoy more being a teacher.
All right. And in terms of being a teacher, like even there's a lot of lawyers, but there's also a lot of teachers out there in the world, like well, here in Ecuador.
Yeah, I know, but well, I felt like fish in the water. So I felt like this is really easy for me. I get to students, they understand me. I feel comfortable, and well, I was improving. I was I was trying to be better every day, and well, I just shaped myself in this art because it's an art. Teaching. You should realize your students are having fun in your classes or they're getting bored. And when you see they're getting bored, you gotta try other techniques in order to get them to lead them again in the class and your main objective.
It feels like teaching was more your calling over being a lawyer. I don't know if you've seen this, but like online, there's a lot of memes where the person will study a career. They'll reach like eighth semester and like, I think I gotta change my career.
It happens. Well, it's been useful because I have had a couple of legal problems and I have done by myself, so it's been useful to me. And but I think my vocation, I feel like more comfortable teaching.
Going into the situation with teaching, like, how do you feel that right now that teachers are treated in the system? Like here in Ecuador, how do you feel like as a teacher? Like where do you teach specifically, and how do you feel
Well, I
the
work
situation
at
is?
the public university, the UTM, and I work at Princeton Academy too. We are co-workers there. And well, it's hard for any single worker here in Ecuador, no matter if you're a professional or not, it's hard here in Ecuador. And yeah, for teachers it's hard. There are so many teachers around and they're trying to get like a position, public position, and it's hard for all of us. And I think the secret is like to try to improve. And you gotta improve. I mean, you gotta if you are an English teacher, you gotta go to an English speaking country and work out by yourself. No one's gonna do it for you. You gotta do it all by yourself. So you gotta go work out, come back and show your skills. That's what you have to do. You cannot be like an English teacher that's just like trying to teach something like having like a lower level like a B1 or no, you gotta try to be the best. To get your best and teach, to show your skills, to share your skills with your students.
So basically, you got to stand out.
That's exactly what I did. I had my experience. That experience. I went to the States, and I did it all by myself. Just worked out all by myself. I went to the streets, talked to random people. And they saw me like, hey, this is rando is crazy, like talking to me. So, but that was the way. I talked to homeless guys around. and it was so nice to know what the way they're living. It's like it's crazy. Homeless people, the way they live, and I learned so much from them. And then when I came back to Ecuador, I had all those experiences, and I could share my experiences with my students, and that's like a plus, when you're teaching.
Of course. You made an effort, and I think that's an important thing for any profession, like to actually make an effort to not just like have the profession and like, oh, I have my degree and I'm good. You have to do something with that degree. You have to actually try to improve the things that you got from that degree. In this case, for English teachers, it's hard to learn more English here in Ecuador when everyone speaks Spanish. So your best bet is to go and actually practice with actual natives, people who know English natively. We always used to practice English all the time over here too.
Yeah.
Like whenever we had a chance to,
we
yeah.
talk, like it's important. You gotta continue, practicing. Otherwise, you will forget it. You will forget the language you just acquired.
Yeah, a lot of people tell me like they're surprised that after all the time that I've been here, I haven't lost my accent, I haven't lost my English, but it's like I'm always watching things in English. I'm always talking to everyone who I can, even non-native speakers, I'm always talking to them in English. I'm always making an effort to speak in English in order to maintain it, because if not, I mean, I'd be in the same boat, like I forget words sometimes, but not like to the level where someone who's like, oh, they've never practiced like since they left and they no longer know anything.
Yeah, you're right. Totally right.
It's a process. But anyways, that was going a little bit into our careers and into understanding who you are specifically. So now I have a really important question for this podcast, something that I really wanted to talk about. And it's a situation with Ecuador itself, because we talk about Ecuador a lot here, and that is the main point of everything that we talk about. And trying to understand things that happen in Ecuador, things that have been happening. And one thing that I find interesting is always the thought process of someone from outside of the country. Like even myself, I'm not gonna lie, like I've always thought of ways, like how can we make Ecuador better? I know it's not up to me by myself to do that, but I've always thought, like, what exactly does Ecuador need? From your perspective as someone who's lived here your whole life, like who's seen the way that Ecuador has been evolving, what's caused Ecuador to move back, to move forward, and what do you think we need in order to keep going forward and not go back?
Well, there's a huge problem, and it's not just about Ecuador, it's about Latin American countries. Well, the first thing sounds like rude, sounds like tough, but unwanted pregnancies are one of the problems, since there are young parents, they don't know what to do, they don't have a job, they don't know how to take care, how to bring up a child, and they just split up, they just, divorce or get separated, and there problems start. So I think that's one of the problems. Other problem is when, women and men also both are guilty. Like they don't focus on they are not really engaged in the family, and they are like they don't focus on children, and they go to work or they go out of the house, and children are with other people that they don't have to be with, and they do whatever they want. There's no rules. They take drugs or alcohol in younger days, and that's a problem too. They get addicted, and it's hard to deal with young addicted. It's really hard. That's one of the problems. It leads to crime. They try to get drugs, and they commit crimes in order to get drugs, and that's like a chain. They continue doing it all the time.
It's a chain reaction, yeah. It's a situation that happens when, especially in lower class families who don't have the means, like the parents have to work. So what do the kids do? What do the parents typically do? They leave the kids with their parents. There's a lot of that culture here where a lot of the kids, first of all, the parents of the kids are either still living with the parents or they have a lot of contact with the parents. So they can leave the kids with with their parents, technically the grandparents of the kids, and they're basically being raised not by their parents but by their grandparents, because either the economy isn't good enough or they just really have no other choice, no one else to leave them with.
That's the reason why the traditional way to bring up children was like more successful. Like there was a mother all the time at home, bringing up kids, teaching them, like educating them all the time, and that was more successful in the past. Now with this new role, women are working. I think it's good. It's good. We know women helping out men is good because they can build up more things in the marriage, like buying houses, cars, and it's good when a woman works. But the problem is when children don't have that figure to obey at home. Grandparents is not the same, and uncles or aunts not the same, and that's what's happening here. So as I told you, this is like a chain, leads to one thing leads to the other, and that's the beginning of a problem. Then what you see, gangs and dangerous gangsters around, and there's this jail situation you see in most of Latin American countries. One example of what you have to do is El Salvador. I think that's rude. It's tough. The guy is really tough, really really hard. But that's the only solution. Human rights are complaining about it, but what would you do in a country that is all polluted? That's like a cancer. It's polluted by gangsters and maras. That's the name, and that was the only solution.
Well, there certainly they came to the point where they actually got a leader who decided to do something about it. But like you said, what exactly can you do about it? I mean, the alternative is to leave. Like either you stay and accept the way things are, or try to change it. Which I think if it's anything like here, whenever someone tries to change something, they disappear. Something bad happens to them, or something, or maybe not something bad happens to them, but something happens that they just decide they don't want to be
That's
in
true.
that position anymore, and they just don't try anymore.
Well, as I told you, it sounds tough, but that should be the solution here. Gangs got the control of everything. Here, there's extortion, crime, and you cannot be like entrepreneur, being relaxed, you like doing your things, because you're gonna be under extortion. Like they're gonna call you and ask you for stuff like money, and that's not good. It's not the country is not going to develop in that way. So solutions should be hard. Like El Salvador is like a big example for Latin America and the world. As I told you, human rights are like complaining, like hey, these guys are just eating like once a day, like they're not wearing anything, like they got their hairs like with no hair, and they like look like they are imprisoned like in World War II. But that's working. Sad, but it's working. It's the only way. Everything led to that in that country, and most Latin American countries are the same way.
Do you think the way things are going here in Ecuador, like now we have the acceptance of guns? Like do you like in theory there are people who had guns already without, permission to have guns. But like now that people have permission to have guns, and of course there are laws behind like how you can get them. But do you think that's going to lead us towards the path of what they did over there? Or do you think we still need something else, like another catalyst that'll show us that hey, you need to do something before this gets worse?
Guns are not the solution because okay, we got the rights. Okay, I agree with having the right of having guns. The problem is that criminals they have better guns. They have um,
They have
the,
AKs
the
while we have
caliber the
pistols.
caliber is like higher like this. There's no competition between like a normal citizen and a gangster, like no competition. So they are even better prepared to shoot. And citizens like you have a 9 millimeters gun, and what you gonna do? Just shoot, and the guys are more prepared. And that's not the solution. Solution is like everything gotta be start over again. Like laws and the application of laws should be correct. I mean, there are some corrupt politicians, corrupt judges that should change in order to have a better future. If we continue this way, this is not gonna work. This is gonna be even worse.
I had heard something about the situation with the judges, and I think it was recent, not sure how long ago, but there was someone who was convicted of like they did a lot of like crimes, and they got out like that, like and everyone knew that they had committed crimes, but like, and the situation is that apparently they find a way to pay off the judges, right?
Yeah, we don't know how it works. It's corruption. we work, we do our things, we we try to work and have our things like in a normal way, a normal citizen just does. And well, I don't know how that could work. I don't know how could you pay a judge and to get something you want. I don't know. It's sad because we know that exists, but that shouldn't exist if we want to be like a first world country.
I think what needs to happen in that aspect is that the judge and anyone involved with like the case, with the trial, they need to be anonymous. Like in order for like, I mean now because they know who the person is going to be the judge, they know who's going to like all the jury and all that stuff. Like they know everyone there. It's easy to find those people and either pay them off or get rid of them, like, and find someone more convenient for you.
They don't know, but they find out. That's a
Corruption.
problem. Yeah, it's a problem. So you see them everywhere. I mean, you see corruption, but in the USA you see like just a minority of these things happening. It happens in the States too, but it's like people who do this are like pointed, and then that's the news, and they won't do that like easily again. So it's harder in like Scandinavian countries like Norway, like Sweden. It's even harder to be corrupt, since you're gonna be, as I told you, you're gonna be pointed like, hey, this guy is a corrupt man, corrupt politician, especially politicians.
I remember like the good mayor that we had Casanova, and like he did good things, so people pointed at him like this is a good mayor, because everyone before him, like I never saw any changes with other mayors in the city.
Exactly, because actions talk more than just words, saying like, hey, I'm doing just some things for the city or the country. But you see Puerto Viejo's like renew like parks and things. There are some problems. Nothing is perfect, but the guy tried so well.
I was just remembering when you were saying like things happen everywhere. When we were talking about the situation with like the kids being disrespectful, not having a good upbringing, I was thinking about how I recently saw a video online of this kid who literally, but not from here. Like this was like somewhere else in the world. But this kid, I think it was in the States. He literally like pushed down like his grandma because she was telling him to go to sleep. The way that parents have been kind of shifting towards their process, like you said, maybe they don't have someone to like guide them towards a good path. And since they're learning examples online, like, hey, you can do whatever you want and like no one's gonna do anything about it, like they're kind of learning through that kind of process. So I can see that happening with kids, not just here, but like everywhere in the world.
Yeah, it's happening now. Parents should be more strict. There's some things kids couldn't do, like social media. No, I disagree with that. You see a little kid 6, 7 with a cell phone, like having WhatsApp or Facebook. That's crazy. They're not ready for that. They are gotta go and run and play. Social media is not for children.
I remember the other day, like we've talked about this a lot with my friends from Switzerland, because they say the same thing. Over there, you don't see kids with like phones like all the time. Like here you see them a lot at the table, like on their phone while they're eating. Like literally one phone in hand, the other hand like with a spoon, like eating. So it's like it's pretty crazy, because they say over there like no, it's family time to eat. If it's time, like when you have free time, it's not always on your phone. You read a book, you go out and play. Like I don't know if that's just the upbringing that they had. Because there could be families where they don't have that kind of upbringing, and they also like are on their phone all the time.
That's education.
That's education.
They are like they have to do things in each time of the day. So they're having lunch, they gotta have lunch. They have a time to play, to use a cell phone. Okay, it's okay, but not every day, all day long. Like no. And
certain apps they have to be restricted too, especially for kids.
I agree.
Like social media.
Social media is not for children. 100% against children having cell phones, using cell phones, even for playing. They don't have to. They have to go play, run, swim, do whatever activity, outdoors activity.
Kind of like they say here, you have to go out and eat dirt, because I don't know if that really happens. They always say that, like in my times I would eat dirt. I'm like, really?
Yeah, your immune system is gonna be better. So it depends. It's gonna be better if you go and you get the dust in your face, and then you stand up again. You keep on running. So
yeah, you have to interact with nature. That's why there were certain problems after COVID because a lot of kids
True.
were like locked indoors the whole time, so their defenses didn't get to develop the way that they would if they were more exposed to the environment. I heard about that. That was a problem in the United States.
Yeah,
I don't
everywhere. I think everywhere.
I don't know here. Like I haven't seen cases of that here.
Everywhere. Yeah, little kids were used to being outdoors, and then suddenly just locked down. It was really bad for all of us, not just kids. Adults and youngsters. For everyone, all people, even for all people, they died.
Yeah.
Most of them, you saw many people dying. All elderly people, like 60, 70, 80, 90, just dying because of COVID, having COVID. It's like a pneumonia, something like that. It was terrible.
COVID was a tough time. It also messed a lot with the economic structure of the country. That's what I've seen a lot of articles talk about. That right now Ecuador is like facing an economic crisis and a crisis in general.
In general,
Because
everything, everything.
well, yeah, economic, the crime, the whole even nature is against us because of the floodings and you know what happened with Alausi, and it's just
So sad, man. Lucy was
extremely.
but they were alerted and they did nothing.
I heard that the
Oh.
alert like came in like it was late or I don't know the alert came in but like it was just an alert like the government didn't really do anything to help them. I don't know if the government has to do anything to help them, but I kind of feel like people who know that they have a house, like just imagine you like you have your house, you have everything you've worked your life to have, like to save up for, and someone tells you you have to leave your house.
You don't have anywhere to go.
Like
That
you
was
don't,
a problem.
yeah, you don't have anywhere to go. Like where do you go? Like who's gonna take you in? Who's gonna guarantee that the stuff that you lose, like maybe there's a way to get at least a part of it back? Like I can understand the thought process of someone who went through that situation and didn't want to leave, but I also understand that before you worry about material possessions, your life comes first.
That was the main reason why some families never left the place because they didn't have anywhere to go. So government just said like, "Hey, we alerted the families to abandon the place," but they said, "Hey, we don't have anywhere to go. So what do we do?" And then suddenly, just the rainy season came, and the bad thing happened.
Yeah.
Just the mountain cracked and there was a huge like land stuff there and terrible. So many families died.
It was crazy. But see, that's part of the things, I guess you could call it the triad. We have crime, we have the economy, and we have
Landslides and
nature.
everything's like happening.
Everything is just against us. But like I was saying before, the economic situation has been bad since COVID. Like even before COVID, you could say it was bad, but COVID just made it worse. Like how do you see the economic situation right now?
It's bad.
But like
it's terrible. Yeah. You're working hard, and you gotta pay taxes. You don't see the taxes. You don't see the government work anywhere, and you see crime, and you feel like kind of frustrated because you're working, you're paying taxes. You want to see the fruits of paying taxes, and you see nothing. So that's kind of frustrating.
not
And
just kind of,
you
it's
see-
really frustrating.
Yeah, you see your retentions like taking away, and then you have like paying your taxes, and you see nothing. So it's really frustrating, as you said.
I'm kind of wondering if like what exactly where does that money go to? Because it can't just like if they're not using it for what they're supposed to use it for, like where's it going? More corruption?
Maybe there's so many debt from
Ah.
other governments. So this government is trying to pay the debt, and it's hard. It's hard.
Paying
But-
off China.
But yeah, but well, it's like having a house. You have a house, you pay your debts, but at the same time you take care of your people. It's not like just paying debt. So this government's just paying debt, doing nothing else. So you gotta do that, but at the same time you gotta take care of your people.
There has to be a balance.
Yeah, it's exactly balanced, but not just paying debt and doing nothing else. So that's what's happening now.
I'm wondering when things are gonna like balance out. Like my dad, he's always telling me like it doesn't seem like it ever balances out because every year since we've been here, and my dad since he has the food business, like he's always talking about how the price of food incrementally raises. Like you don't see it if you don't do shopping, like if you don't shop for fruits, vegetables, and food every day. But if you go every day, like to shop for something, you notice that the things have gone up like in cents, like 1 cent, 2 cents. But he always talks about the global increase. It's not what you wasted a little bit more one day. Because like one day that you say, oh, I wasted 10 more cents, you're like, whatever, it's 10 cents. But you have to calculate what that 10 cents means in a week, in a month, in a year. Like that is the global that my dad talks. At least that's the way I interpret it. That's the way I understand it. That is the whole amount that you're actually spending. So you didn't just waste 10 more cents in one day. You wasted maybe 10 more dollars in the year. And all of that added up because what you're earning isn't more. It's pretty much the same thing.
Well, it's stuck like everything is like inflation going up and up and up, and your salary is like the same or even lower. That's a big problem. I'm telling you, the financial situation is not good for most of us. We're working, but the solution is trying to continue working harder. If we have to work harder, we have to do it. Make more money, try to to invest money, save. Savings are good. You have savings, you can buy some things like car. Car is necessary. Having a car is necessary. You need to transport yourself and children and family. It's necessary. It's not like a luxury thing. It's necessary to have a car or any vehicle like a motorcycle.
Yeah, I was about to say all I got is a motorcycle, and
Yeah,
I'm lucky to
it's
even
good.
have that.
Yeah, it's good. It's necessary to have a vehicle.
I've definitely noticed that it's a lot better if you have a vehicle. Like for me, it's the motorcycle, and to me, it's like if you're by yourself, like if you're single, if you're like you just need something to get you from point A to point B every day. A motorcycle is more than enough, especially if you're a very good driver. Because if you're a crazy driver, then the
it's
motorcycle.
hard to drive here. You know,
Yeah.
you talked about that in some other podcast a long while ago.
Yeah.
Like driving here in Puerto Viejo. There was another problem we didn't mention was migration. You know, people just migrate from this place. It's happening. It's happening. They cross. There's like a jungle in Panama. They cross it. You know, there are rivers. And they swim the rivers. There are crocodiles. There are things like that. And they try to cross through Central America to go to Mexico and then try to cross the border of the USA. It's risky, but that they have nothing else to do. They do it. Working in the USA is different. You've lived in the States and you know that there are so many opportunities there. You can do many things there and make money. Like doing anything, like cleaning, you got like 20 per hour. This is the land of opportunities. I've been there a couple of times and I have felt really good there in the States. It's a good place to live. People is so open-minded. They try to make money all the time and to live comfortably. And I think that should be our main objective as humans. Like try to live comfortably and try to be happy. We shouldn't live like just working and being like hating your job every day, waking up in the morning and hating yourself because you're doing something you don't like, and being really frustrated all day long and then coming back home at night and discharge that frustration in your children and wife because you are not happy. So that's not the objective. So we gotta try to be happy and enjoy what we do.
It's kind of funny that you say that because I think a lot of this, like I'm pretty sure a lot of the people who listen to the podcast, like who are from the States, they're gonna say it's perspective because I've actually heard the opposite. Like here, what I liked to see when I got here from the States, like after so much time living here, I've noticed that people are very relaxed, very comfortable with the lifestyle that they live. They earn just enough to live here. Like even me, like I don't earn a lot. Like I earn just enough, but I don't feel like I'm constantly being like pressured to make more money, which is good and bad. Good in the sense that you don't feel stressed because like nothing is telling you need to earn more. But bad because you get too comfortable with having just enough, so you never get to buy anything that you actually want. You just have like what you need. Like you got this. You don't need anything else.
Once you have children, you change your mind. That's the thing.
But the perspective of people in the States is actually the opposite right now. Like I've seen videos of people talking about the American dream is dead. The States is going bad. Like the dollar is losing its value. And a lot of people want to like leave the country. Like I was recently reading these tweets from another YouTuber. His name is Roberto Blake. He actually teaches YouTube. And I respect him. He talks about a lot of good things. He's all about hard work, like you said, getting ahead through hard work, like not trying to believe in some miracle solution, working hard. And he says that he doesn't want to live in the States anymore. He
Dude,
doesn't see himself
a
there.
couple of weeks ago, I had a conversation with one of my coworkers at the uni, and we were talking about money, and there was like an argument there. Like one of my coworkers said that money is not important, doesn't give you happiness. I said, come on, what are you talking about? And there was like an argument. A couple of my coworkers agreed with me, like yeah, money gives you happiness. If you have a lot of money, you can make people happy, make people around you. Like you can you see they are bad, like you can loan some money. You can make a loan. I mean, you can lend money. You can make people's lives better having money, and it's not just about like no, it's not that money doesn't give you happiness. It's like the good use of money is gonna make other lives better, and that's what I mean. It's not like I feel materialistic. Not. It's the point that having money, having a lot of money, can make a better world for people who need it. You can help more people having money. That was the argument that we were discussing, and well, one of my coworkers who thought that money doesn't give happiness, she was like quiet. Yeah, you're right, man. You're right. Yeah, but it was fun. I love having this kind of conversation with my coworkers. Like cool. It's just really in a respectful way. We talk, but it's something real. Like money is important. Some people say no, but money is important. Making money is important. You can give yourself comfort, and you can give others comfort and help when someone has the necessity of a giving hand.
I agree with the part where you say like money is important, but I also understand the point of view of someone saying like money isn't like what brings happiness, because like money itself, like the physical object money, if it had no value, like you would think this is useless. Like money itself, like the item means nothing. What you do with it is what means everything. I think this is why a lot of people who are already rich, they say money doesn't bring happiness, because they understand having the money hasn't led them to be consistently happy. And the life that they lived maybe, was more stressful than what we can see from the outside. But I've always thought to myself, like one of my goals for like building up my YouTube channel, for building up my audience, for doing the things that I do is not just to help me. Obviously, I want to help, like I want my situation to be better. But I also want my family, my mom, my dad, my brother to have a good situation. Like I would love it if I could, like right now, like if I had $1 million right now, give it to my dad, retire. Like stop working.
Exactly.
Go have fun. Like
He's working
enjoy your
so
life.
hard now. He deserves retirement and like chilling out, going to the beach, relax, having his own car, and yeah, you're right.
In my opinion, he should have retired years ago because of everything that he's done for the house.
He's a hardworking guy.
He is. And that's why I'm always thinking like if I had money, it's not just to help me. It's to help those around me, because that's what would make me happy.
Yeah.
Because I've seen my friends who have like low paying jobs. I'm like, if I could create work for them, like they wouldn't have to like suffer doing a job that they hate. They could do something with me that's more fun. Like we can record videos, we can explore different parts of the country, and we could earn a lot more with that. Like if that were a possibility, like I would love to do that. Like I've even told myself like in one of my, dreams, like if I had like millions of dollars, like if I were rich, like I would get my best friends, everyone who's been with me in the process, here's a car. For each of you, like why not? Like you have money, why would you hog it all to yourself?
That guy, that YouTuber, there's a YouTuber, a guy like
Mr. Beast.
Yeah, that guy does that all the time. Like
no, but he does it through competitions. Like the purpose of me giving something to my friends
there was a video where he just gave away his cars to friends and people, like random people. He was like crazy, man.
To random people.
Cool. That's cool.
No, it's great. I love Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast is like one of my examples to follow. Like I've always
he's making a lot of money and using that money in a good way, like helping people.
Exactly. And I've always thought about that. Like first, like I said, first like help out my friends. But after that, like imagine like being able to donate. Mr. Beast, I don't know if you saw the video. He made a video where he cured 1,000 people's blindness. Like that was great. A lot of people like go against it. Like there are people who actually think that was a publicity stunt, that he's using people to make himself more popular. But that's when you do this kind of business, when you do YouTube or any kind of thing that requires you to like become, I guess, a public figure, like you need to become more famous. I'm not saying that the only purpose is to become more famous. That's not his end goal. His end goal is to make money to help more
Yeah.
people. And the more people who know him, the more money he can make and the more people he can help. And that's great because at the end of the day, going back to the situation with happiness, I don't know if this is how Mr. Beast thinks, but it makes me happy when I can do something for someone else. Like
Exactly.
I help a friend and they say, "Oh, damn, thank you. Like
Yeah,
I really needed your
he's
help."
doing a great job. As we can see on the videos, he's doing a great job. He's helping people. He's random people. He just goes on the streets and they say, "Hey, you need something?" Yeah, sure. So he gives them money and go with some. So that's cool. It's when you have a lot of money, you can help people.
Without it, you can't really do
Exactly.
anything.
There's nothing. There's no payback. Just hey, I wanna help you out. Just eat something like that's a cool thing to do.
But the reality is something that someone once told me. You can't help anyone until you've helped yourself first.
Exactly.
You've got to be in a good
and
position.
people around you, family, they gotta be fine, comfortable. Then you can help the rest.
Yeah, you've got to be in a good position first before you can put others in a good position as well. I've also had this idea. The other day I talked about it. I think it was in the chat in my live stream. But I had this idea that if I could like, since I'm a teacher, wouldn't it be like really cool like to be able to donate and make a school like, and that school you know that you can make it the way that you want, similar to an education from a different country that you know works. Like you don't follow the I don't know if you have to follow the rules of education of Ecuador, like if you have a school in Ecuador, but like imagine having a school with the educational norms of Finland, which is supposedly
Yeah.
one of the best places for education. It would be a
Yeah.
whole different story, like whole
Yeah,
different world.
yeah. I think the best models should be copied. I think if you see Finland is working well, like having that educational model, so we have to apply that. And I have read about it, and it's great because they teach languages. When they are 6 or 7, they're learning like 5 or 6 extra languages from the native language, and they are ready for the world. They can travel anywhere. They know like English, French, German, so they can go and work in the future. And I heard something about not having so much homework. They just work like 10 or 20 minutes of homework, and that's it. Here in Ecuador, students are like doing like 100 algebra exercises like from one day to the other, and they feel like frustrated and they just give up.
It causes stress
That's
and
it.
it
That's the
causes
difference.
depression.
That's the difference. You go to Finland, you just work like 20 minutes, 30 minutes. That's it. Get out, leave, go with your parents, go to a park. That's a rule there. There are some laws there about that. The parents got to share some time with children. That's the base of society. When parents are responsible with children, no matter if you're married to their mother, but if you could be divorced, but you gotta be responsible with your children. You gotta give them time and care, and that's another problem we were talking at the beginning of this conversation. That some parents, especially male, they don't care about children. They just make children and they just leave, and they grow up without a dad, a father. That's another problem. They don't have that figure at home, like it's more respectable having your dad there, like telling you, teaching you what to do, what not to do, and they just grow up and they go for the world and not having that figure, and they feel that they are over everyone. They can just stumble everyone and not following any rules. That's one of the problems. I think we should be responsible. No matter if you are married to the mother of your children, you gotta be responsible for your children. You gotta give them care and attention. And you could solve many problems doing that. Giving them what they need. They need education, they need care, they need time, especially time. We work all day long, but we can give them some minutes of the day to talk about what they did, to do some activities like playing chess or just running in the backyard. So we can do many things with children. Care is important. You give some care to your children, and you're gonna grow up like in a happy way. You're gonna be happily teenagers, like you're gonna be really happy, and in the future they're gonna, when just parents just pass away, they're gonna say like, hey, I had the best parents ever. So that's life. You know, you want to be, you want to be on the memory of your children. That's what we have to work for.
In a positive way.
A positive way, exactly. So like you just brought them up and you taught many good things, to work, to study, to take advantage of time, not to be a lazy guy like just wandering around doing nothing. So you will live forever in those heads.
I think that's good. And this kind of goes back into the original question, just to ask it one more time. What exactly, as a country like Ecuador, and you could also think of this as maybe other places in the world that have similar problems, like you said, maybe Latin America. So what does Ecuador need? So we need like better parents. We need to work harder.
A little bit of everything. We need hard work and education, respect for others. We people here disrespect others. When you're driving, you realize how disrespectful people are.
Yeah.
They don't care about where the place you have there. They don't yield pedestrians when they're walking, trying to cross the street. I had the opportunity to drive in the States, and I saw like a new world. Everything was respected there. You know, traffic lights were respected. Pedestrians were holy. They were crossing the street, and everyone was at that point waiting for them to cross the street. Here is the opposite.
No.
You know, they try to survive. They just wanna cross the street and try to survive. Man.
You have to run
I don't
sometimes.
wanna run over here. That's the difference between first world and third world country. When you respect laws and respect people, sometimes people lose the cool in the streets, and I think you gotta just continue your way and don't try to be arguing. And it's like, you don't know, maybe that person is frustrated for something, and it happens. I saw a couple of things like that in the States when I was walking on the streets. Some people are like losing the cool and arguing, like insulting each other. It happens everywhere, but it's part of being respectful and respect yourself. And you're gonna be like fighting, having a street fight, and just because.
Just because.
Yeah, just because there's stupid things, like random things, like because you walked and the guy you saw just barely crossed around you, and then you start like complaining about it, and that's stupid fight. So things like that happen everywhere, but we gotta try to respect and be cool. Sometimes we are like for the heat of the moment you say something that is disrespectful, and there's a fight that's starting, and we can't avoid it. What I know from martial arts, because I used to train martial arts, is like one fight that you avoid is one fight that you win. So you're winning a fight when you avoid it. And when you have knowledge, you know how to fight, you try to fight less. Most of people try to fight and they don't know how to punch. They just insult, and that's bad. We have this have self-control and try to avoid arguments and fights in the streets. We gotta be cool. We gotta do what we like. Try to live without disrespecting the rest. Try to respect yourself, the rest. Try to drive correctly in the streets. Sometimes we make mistakes, but we gotta try to be correct when we're driving. And that's the beginning. That's a beginning. When you try to do things well, it's a beginning to have a better country. I think it starts from oneself. We are the change. The way we're bringing up our children and the way we live, where we respect others and respect laws. That's what we should do.
It's a process, and I'm hoping that
It's
at
a long
least
process. Could happen, but it's a compromise. It's engagement that people should do. Like hey, I want to change. You have to say that I want to change. I have to do things the correct way. So I have to drive correctly. I'm gonna do it. You have to respect my wife. I'm gonna do it. So the change could start from now. People should have like engagement with the change.
it's gonna take a while. I realize that a lot of things here are a process, because even though in terms of respect and stuff like that, you don't really see much of a change, there have been changes, at least things that you can see. Like I said earlier, talking just about the city. And people little by little have changed. It's just not extremely big radical changes. and it's gonna take a while. Just to kind of give some final thoughts, like, is there anything else you'd like to say about this whole situation?
There's another thing I forgot people should do. It's like teenagers or young people should go abroad. I mean, like an exchange program, like a month. When you go abroad and you realize there's another culture, another rule, other rules, and then you learn. It's like you say, okay, this is new. People are respecting laws here. People are respecting pedestrians and driving correctly. So you change your you have a new mindset. When you come back to your country, you are you're renewed. You're a new guy. So I think it's necessary for all of us to have at least like a month away from our country to change our mindset and come back and try to change things here, because things are like kind of polluted here, and we gotta try to change them.
It's kind of funny because since we are teachers, like I've noticed kids who either go to another country and like they've been to other countries, they act differently, and it's kind of like the same process. Like going to another country kind of feels like when you grow up like really fast. Like just you randomly just grow up really fast, because when I've seen students who like I gave classes to, let's just say like 6 years ago, and I see them now, like they were troublemakers before and now they're like super like
And more mature, more
yeah, without
calm.
leaving the country. But when someone leaves the country, like as soon as they come back, they're like a whole different person. So you learn something once you leave the country. Once you go to another place and you realize what you consider normal might not be normal in another place that you go to.
That's true. That happens when a little guy, like a young boy or girl, just goes away from the country and come back. It's like they feel renewed. There's a new mindset. They just try to do things better. And when you meet them, you say, "Hey, you look great now. You look like a big man now." Yeah, it's true. I have had the chance to talk to my students who just have left the country for a couple of months. They come back. They are new guys. They look like different. They look like yeah, they're another mentality. They are thinking of all the things, not just like like being lazy and chilling out, doing nothing. It's necessary. That would be a good thing a government could do, like to have a program to send students abroad at least 2 weeks. 2 weeks you enjoy. 2 weeks are like 15 days. You can do many things in 15 days.
Yeah,
That would
but
be a great investment. Yeah, that's investment. But
no, but it's like I'm pretty sure financially, like economically, I don't see them doing that. Like, because they're gonna say, "Oh, we don't have money for
But
a program like
if
that."
you want like your people having a progress, so you should do it. If you're president, changing that mindset, it's important. It's important, and we could have a program to do it. Exchange program or whatever with other countries, like first world countries. They could go to Norway, to Sweden, Swiss, or the USA. We have many first world countries. Our people could go just for a couple of weeks and realize the way people live in other countries.
Yeah, I agree that would be a great idea, but realize that the president that we have decided that instead of solving the problems, he would give us weapons so we can solve them
give me more
ourselves.
problems. Give me more
So, I don't know if
He says like it's not my problem. Just you solve your
Yeah.
problems. You have guns. Go. No, man. No. That's not the solution. I told you
Yeah.
at the beginning. Having guns, it's not the solution.
violence just brings more violence.
Yeah,
It doesn't
it's
work.
true.
But yeah, well, I think that was a very productive conversation. There's a lot.
Yeah.
I think there's still a lot we could touch up on this subject and other subjects as
We
well.
could be talking here for hours.
Probably. But we'll leave that for another episode.
Sure, of course. It's
So,
gonna be a pleasure to be here.
it was great. Daniel,
Thank you so much.
I appreciate you being here today. If you have anything to say to the audience, any final words, just
No, just like you see the video, just like it and just follow him. He's a great guy. He works so hard, so just follow him. And yeah, I'm gonna be here soon, maybe another podcast, and we're gonna continue talking about other things. Could be better things now. Like this topic is a kind of it's for it's sad sometimes, because you say, well, what could we do to improve our country, and things are bad now, but well, we could try to other topics in the future. We're sport men. We like video games. We could do many different things in the future.
there's a lot of things to talk about.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, appreciate you tuning in to this episode of Ace Talks, and we hope to see you soon. Well, Hope that you hear us soon. Take care, and as always, Ace out.